Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome back for another video of Convallaria video, and this is the another character showcase video. So this time let's talk about Senshi. You might be wondering how you're gonna get this guy. Well, you get him through the Delicious in Dungeons collab tab, where as long as you get into the game, get into the event that features Delicious in Dungeons, you'll be able to get him for free. Yes, you heard that right, absolutely free. The very first time that they introduced a free legendary character, and this is a collab unit, so once he is gone, he's going to be staying out of the summoning cycle. So, but of course he won't be in there anyways because he is a free unit. So be sure you get yourself this unit because he is pretty good on both offense and defense. So let me show you what he's about. So I'm gonna let you guys know about his trait. This is based on his 2 stars. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you him what he's like at 1 star, but we'll do 2 stars. So his trait is called Enjoy Eating, and what this is that at the start of the battle, summons 1 pot of cuisine and increases the attack and defense by 5%. So you might wonder what is cuisine is supposed to be. Well, cuisine is an item which can be placed on the map. Which basically allies within 2 tiles of cuisine recovers HP at the end of their turn, with the chance of getting both happiness and fullness for 2 turns, and reduce cuisine HP by a certain amount. And you might be thinking, what is happiness and fullness are? So happiness is pretty similar to, let's just say, similar to Cocoa's buff, which is something that will be really useful because that reduces the energy consumption for certain skills by 1. And also cooldown reduced by 1 turn. That's pretty neat. And fullness is another thing which I think is new, which we'll talk about soon here. Which is a debuff, by the way. You get either one of those 2, which is hopefully you get something good. But at the same time, fullness is actually what you get both actually. So this cannot trigger the cruising effect, which makes sense. Which because you do not want to get this overpowered, And the cruising effect is that when an ally within 2 tiles of the cuisine ends their turn, they recover 15% HP and have a 30% chance to gain both happiness and fullness for 2 turns, while reducing the cuisine's HP by 25%. So they can only be consumed up to 4 times total, because 100 is like 4 times of the 25. Basic math, common sense. And now let's talk about what skills he comes with. So when you upgrade him to like a certain ranks, these are the ones you'll get here. So if you go for this here, it's called Cold Attack Extra. It's a passive skill. When for each ally unit within 2 tiles of the character, attack is increased by 5%, up to 15%. When an item is present within range, attack is additionally increased by 15%. Which basically increases up to 30 total, which is pretty nuts. And there's also Sweeping Bash, which is a AoE attack of a 3x2 area in a target direction, dealing 80% damage to all enemies within that area. And this will inflict physical defense 1 down for those units that were hit, and this will last for 2 turns. And for rank 3 upgrade, you'll get 2 of these ones. It's Mealtime. This is a support skill, which is a 3-turn cooldown, 3 cost NRG, and this will prepare us for 1 turn, summons 1 pot of cuisine at the target empty tile, and grants attack 2 up to allies within 2 tiles of the target, and move 2 up to allies within 3 to 4 tiles for 2 turns. After casting, the character skips a turn. So this is for balancing reasons, because after you prepare the meal, you use up your turn. And then there's another skill that you can unlock, which is called Responsibility. It's a passive skill. The skill's mealtime no longer requires preparation and no longer causes the character to skip their turn, which is even better. At the end of the turn, if no damage was dealt during this turn, gains 2 stacks of Senshi's Satisfaction, and gains crit 2 up and damage 2 up for 2 turns. And since this passive is pretty useful, I might as well unlock that. There we go. And then if you go for rank 5, reaction skill called Eat Well. Gains block. When the character is within 2 tiles of cuisine, block chance increases to 100%, and damage taken when blocking is reduced by an additional 20%, and performs assisting cover for all allies within 2 tiles of the character. So essentially, you're turning this guy from like just a typical like a breaker unit into a guarding unit, which is pretty nuts. Might as well get this too. So he can be a bit of a use here. But if you want to go for the other reaction skill, this is also here, which will basically make him immune to Scorch and Burning tiles when taking fire damage or magical damage. Damage taken is reduced by 40%. So as long as he's like being attacked by magic-based attacks, he's not gonna be suffering as much as he normally would be, which is a good sign to know. Rank 7 upgrades, you will get these 2 skills: the Smell of Cooking. Cuisine gains an aura effect, which will increases the attack and defense by 10% for allies within 2 tiles of the cuisine, and decreases attack and defense by 10% for enemies. When the character triggers the cuisine effect, gains 1 stack of Senshi satisfaction and recovers an additional 1 NRG. So this one, Senshi satisfaction is a buff. When actively attacking enemies, each stack increases damage by 30%. Okay, and then up to 6 stacks. All stacks are removed after attacking. Okay. You cannot keep that forever, I guess. And he also comes with a common skill which is called Burning Grenade. It's basically alcohol that he throws, or anybody who throws it. It's a piercing damage. Deals piercing damage equal to 10% of the target's HP to all enemies within 1 tile radius around the target tile, and changes the tiles into burning for 2 turns. So essentially, even though if they have like a shield or anything, that'll go past it. So be careful if you're on the receiving end. And now for the rank 9 skills. These are the basic attack upgrades. You can go for powerful attack, which does 110% physical damage, or go for the other one, which is a scorching attack, which does 100% physical damage and inflicts scorch on the target, and this will last for 2 turns. And now for the Iron Pot, which is the rank 11 skill. Gains 3 stacks of Senshi's satisfaction and holds up a large pot in front, reducing damage taken from the front by 40% and from the side by 20% until the start of the next turn. Pretty useful for self-defense. And he also had Crushing Strike. It's a single target attack, dealing 130% damage. Before attacking, the character gains physical defense 2-up and magic defense 2-up for 2 turns. And in rank 12, we don't unlock anything besides the extra stats here. And then as for the gear choices and the engrave, whatever it is, I'll go for Brutal Axe as one of his weapon, which will increases the HP by 3%. When attacking, if the enemy's HP percentage is higher than the character, this will ignore 20% of the target's defense. Pretty nuts. And also I went with the Berserk Incense, which will allow him to hit hard. And also movement is increased by 1 tile. And damage is increased by 10% for 2 turns. Can be used up to 1 time per battle. Well, of course, it's a single use. I'm going to replace that to make him to become like a tank, somewhat of a tank. And then as for the Tarot's Whisper, I went with the Fool's Naivety, which will allow him to recover, have his HP increase even further. When initiating an active attack, if the character's max HP is greater than the target, damage dealt is increased by 10%. So yeah, and then as for the factions, he's part of the Drifter and Discipline. So yeah, overall, he is a solid unit to have, especially as a freebie. So let me know in the comments below whether if you got him. I mean, of course, everyone should got him by now, as long as you participate in the collab event. And until then, hope you all find this video helpful or informative, and I'll see you all next time for more.